Welcome back to the Urban Pharmacy podcast. Today I have an amazing guest. It is Michael Younger, also known as the Fruit Monk. Michael lives a minimalist lifestyle. He is a nomad as well. He often travels by motorbike, bicycle, or whatever gets him from one beautiful corner of the world to the next. He backpacks. And over the last 6 years, he's really explored what Mother Nature has to offer in terms of fruits and landscapes and cultures and the many ways that humans choose to live. Through meditation, Vipassana, birthing, breathwork, rewilding, simple living, diet experimentation, fasting, and deep time in nature, he's expanded his mind, heart, and connection to spirit. Since 2019, he's been based in Da Nang, Vietnam, drawn by the endless fruit, the warm weather, stunning waterfalls, and the incredibly kind people who make it feel like home. This is also where he hosts his retreat, the Vietnam Fruit and Nature Retreat. So, Michael, welcome again. Welcome to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast. So excited to have you here.
I wonder how many people just dropped off because of that long ass intro. I like half. Thank you.
How are you? How are you today?
Yeah, I feel very good. Feel chill.
Feel chill. Okay, so listen, you are...
Happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
What?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes, you too. We're recording on Thanksgiving. Michael, where did I meet you? Was it at... Did I just meet you this summer in 2025, or did I meet you before?
Yeah.
I met you before, right?
I don't think so. I think we met. I think we were both at the vegan wellness retreat in Michigan, but we
Yeah,
really didn't speak there. And then we met again.
right.
I mean, we were both there, but we didn't even meet because we didn't even socialize there together. But then we were both at the Kansas one, the Thrive Alive in Kansas.
Right.
And I think that's where we started talking.
And I was bothering you by accident and didn't really realize. I didn't really realize it, but you were like in the cold, or no, you were in the cold, like you were trying to just kind of chill. And here I come, like just kind of rattling all the energy I felt. I felt so bad. I was jumping in the cold plunge behind you, and you were just trying to just be all calm. And that's like your demeanor. And I want to talk about that more and kind of share with people how you've created that energy in your life. But yeah, after that, now we're friends.
I don't think you bothered me. Are you talking about the sauna? Huh.
Yeah.
We were just having fun.
The sauna, and then the cold plunge. And you were so chill, and you seem to be the type of person that really is you're in your element when it comes to practicing mind-body connection in different various ways. And I wanted to talk to you about that today, to help inspire other people. Because I am going to take a wild guess and assume that your daily practices in terms of wellness and mind-body connection have probably changed your life in a big way. So I would love to just start this conversation with where your journey started in terms of wellness, and then also kind of in terms of waking up. I believe everybody kind of has a time in their life where they're like awoken. They're like, oh, there's a lot of things going on outside that have been kind of programmed to believe or do. And the people that break free are usually people here on my podcast. So when was your pivotal time in your life? Can you tell us a little bit of your story?
Sure. Well, in terms of awakenings, I feel like it's possible that we all go through many different reincarnations over and over again. And we're kind of like gradually, maybe, I mean, this is just a theory, that we're just gradually kind of like waking up more and more in different past lives. And that kind of gives us like some kind of edge to have some kind of awakening like in the next life that's even like more profound and more awakened, if that can even be quantified. Just getting closer to like remembering what we truly are. And for me, the first kind of like awakening that I can recall was just 6 years ago when I started to go plant-based. And prior to that, I was just eating we'll just talk about food. I was just eating whatever standard American, but I was living in Vietnam, so it was kind of like standard American and Vietnamese fast food, like these banh mi sandwiches and all the noodle dishes and stuff, which is a little bit healthier than American food, but still eating tons of meat, dairy. My breakfast was like 8 eggs.
Oh my goodness.
So no shortage of animal foods. And during this time, I just got like all of these things were coming to me related to thinking about the world differently, thinking about the perspective of the animals and how they're being treated, how they're living, what's happening to the earth with all of this land being used for farming, what's happening to my body when I am consuming all these animals. And all of these things just came together and like it was just like a switch flipped and I was just like I gotta go vegan. And that was just one example of like awakening, I guess, that was just like, yeah, I mean it was like my life and my whole perspective of life just changed like overnight and I just decided to stop eating animals. And I mean that, as everyone knows that has stopped eating animal products, that is just like a domino effect for everything else, like so many more positive benefits to happen in your life. And everything is like associated. Like if you meditate, if you start meditating or something, then eventually you're gonna maybe stop smoking and stop eating fast food. And if you stop smoking and you start, I don't know, it's all just interconnected. And
Yeah.
whatever awakening you have in your own life, it's gonna lead to like just a web of all kinds of more positive things happening. And so I probably had a lot of like mini awakenings, or I don't know, I've just been constantly like evolving and changing.
Can you explain to me what it was in terms of the desire to start eating plant-based? Like, were there
hmm
documentaries that you watched, Michael? Were there friends of yours that you met? Where did it come from?
hmm I didn't have that many vegan influences in my life up until then. It was mostly at this time that I was, yeah, I saw some video on YouTube called like Vegan Bodybuilder Eats One Meal a Day. You can look that up. I forgot the guy's name.
Okay.
This big tan-skinned, really muscular, massive guy in a video. He's got a shaved head. His name's like Dr. Amin Ra or something like that. And the video on YouTube is called Vegan
Okay.
Bodybuilder Eats One Meal a Day. This dude's massive, and he was just showing like what he eats in a day, which was like a bunch of beans and stuff like that. And he was massive. And I was just like, I don't know why YouTube recommended me that, probably because I was already watching videos about like working out because I was into fitness. And I was like, how can
Huh.
this be vegan bodybuilder? It's just like those two words just don't make sense. And then I think YouTube just started recommending me a bunch of like vegan content after I watched that. And then I started seeing like Earthling Ed's vegan activism stuff pop up and just kept clicking on stuff. And then it like, these videos triggered me and people were recommending me like to watch these documentaries, or the YouTubers were suggesting like go watch these documentaries if you want to see some messed up stuff. So I just went on Netflix and watched a couple of these like slaughterhouse footage documentaries, and yeah, it just, I mean, made me cry. It was
Wow.
super sad to watch that. And I grew up with animals, several animals, a dog, a guinea pig, lizards, different kind of animals, and I loved all of them. So to like felt the same connection to these animals I was seeing in the slaughterhouse. Animals, cows being taken away from their mothers and pigs being
So
lowered into
sad.
gas chambers and stuff. It was just crazy, and I was like, yeah, that was a big thing. It was the emotional thing that really contributed to me being like, damn, I
Wow.
can't. What a dilemma. I can't support this anymore. Don't want to stop eating meat, but like I can't move forward
Yeah.
supporting this industry. So I just stopped like overnight.
Yeah. That's so relatable. That is kind of how it happened for me too. Like I saw a documentary and I was done. I was like, dang. Oh my God, that's so sad.
Yeah.
And I applaud you, Michael, for actually watching that. Most people don't want to put themselves through actually understanding where the food comes from that's on their plate
hmm
because most people literally are just they go to the grocery store and it's all in a pretty package and they have no idea that that was a energetic living being that has a mother and a father and siblings and a life that they want to live, right? They don't they don't make that connection. And if they have the opportunity to watch something where it shows how these animals' lives are ended, they typically turn their head. I will say that when I was watching the documentary, that literally changed everything for me. My hand was like this, and I was like peeking through. And I
hmm
have to force myself to see this, and yeah, change everything. So that's very interesting. Now, you currently eat mostly raw, from what I know, right?
Hmm.
Is that accurate? Are you still eating mostly raw food?
Yeah, I'll tell you an honest story that's been happening recently.
Sure.
Yeah, I've been on a journey,
Yeah.
eating high raw, mostly raw foods, a lot of fruit and veggies, for like 4 years now. It evolved into, yeah, sometimes me using these labels, fruitarian, raw vegan,
Right,
just to
right.
make things more simple. Yeah, just eating a lot of fruit over the past couple of years. And I've done a couple of juice fasts,
Mm-hmm.
and we are in the same fasting group on WhatsApp, so you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I recently did a juice fast. I stopped
Yes.
about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I did 33 days, which was, I think, like the exact same amount of days that I did 2 years ago, which is kind of weird. I just like intuitively felt to stop. I'm not a Freemason. I know this number is associated with some weird stuff, but yeah, I felt amazing on this juice fast. Super, as anyone knows that has experimented with that before, you feel very like light and euphoric and just
Mm-hmm.
like open and receptive to like everything when you're juice fasting, just super heightened intuition, sensitivity, connection to source, everything. It's a very spiritual experience. So I did this juice fast, I was feeling great, and then I broke the fast very gradually, just eating like one meal a day of fruit and the rest of the meals juices for like a week. And
Okay.
then I was making this dehydrated raw pizza. Very
Mm.
simple. It's a recipe from Chris Kindle, The Raw Advantage,
Oh, so
where
good.
the crust is made from zucchini noodles and like some marinara sauce that you make. Very easy
Mm.
to digest. I was ready for it. And I used basically just like too much zucchini, and the pizza crust was too thick, and I had it in the dehydrator for like 2 days. I was super excited about this pizza. I came home from work and I was just like ready to eat this pizza on a Friday afternoon, and it had been just like so moist in the dehydrator for so long that it had started to mold. Took all these nice photos with the pizza and everything, and had like pineapples and mushrooms and all these nice toppings on it.
Oh,
It
no.
was going to be so good if it didn't get molded, but it got molded. And so I tried to eat it, to be honest, and I was like, I'm not going to make myself
I
eat
wouldn't either.
mold just to do this. So I ended up composting all of it. And then I think that just left like some kind of void. Like I was just like, damn, I really wanted that pizza. So the
Yeah.
next day, I decided to make a pizza with cooked foods, which
Oh.
I hadn't eaten cooked food in like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Have been off the salt, cooked food, off salt, off oil, off. I've just been almost like exclusively on fruits and juices and salads for like 6 months, and I've been feeling fine like that. But after this juice fast, it like triggered. I
Yeah.
think I kind of went to one extreme of being like very light, even though I felt great. But I think my body was like going through this big detoxification process. And so coming back into eating, what happens to me every time, and this is also what John Rose, the famous fasting expert, talks about, is that when you come off a fast, you like these demons inside you that like want to eat, just like they just get woken up when you start eating again, and they're just like, whoa, we need to eat everything. We haven't been eating for 33 days. Like we need to catch up. We need to get that fat back. We need to eat everything. And so that's what was going on. And so anyway, I made this very simple cooked pizza with like a potato crust. I didn't even use salt or anything. And this just escalated to me like starting to eat more and more complicated cooked foods every day for like the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's gotten to this point where I've still been eating one meal a day, but I've just been like binging on cooked food in the evening, even though I've been making it myself very consciously, very present, not adding like a bunch of shitty ingredients, keeping it pretty much like gluten free. And yeah, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting
It's so,
experience.
ooh, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because,
I don't even know
yeah,
what the question was, but
it's all
you
right.
just
No, I
asked if
don't
I
even
was
know.
raw.
Oh, eating raw because I know that you have these retreats and you're not teaching, but you're probably teaching people about, you know, the benefits of eating plants and raw living foods and the abundant lifestyle that can go along with eating God's creations, which is beautiful, juicy fruit,
Mhm.
that just feeds our not only our palate and our gut, but also our soul. And yeah, I wanted to ask you about like the raw. I mean, you said you've been eating a lot more fruit like the last 4 years. I was kind of just curious and about what made you want to start doing that, like if it was more of an intuitive thing or if you were inspired in some way to eat more raw living foods. But we can cover that in a minute here. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about raw food and cooked food and salt, oil, and sugar and all the nuances that come along with the plant-based lifestyle, because I've been eating plants for 16 years, and I will tell you, from the doctors that have interviewed and the people who have been living different lifestyles, like everybody has their own ways and their own
Yeah.
experiences, and they learn from them. And I am at this point where I'm like, I don't think any of it's right or wrong. A lot of us judge ourselves. I don't know if you felt judging on your own self, Michael, because I definitely have done that. I'll be raw, fully raw. Like I was fully raw for like 2 years, and I just started doing exactly what you said, like binging on potatoes. And it's not like crappy food, right? But then you're like, man, am I doing this wrong? Like, why can't I just stay raw? And it's like, then you start to feel bad about yourself or judge yourself. How are you feeling physically after eating these cooked foods? And what is your like mental state with it? I would love to know.
Yeah. Well, I confided in a good friend of mine about it. Just kind of told her what I'm going through, and she just said, she kind of gave me some just practical grounding advice and said, you're at your parents' house. It's the winter. This is what your body's asking for right now. Just be present with it. Don't judge yourself. Just give your body what it's asking for. Give your heart what it's asking for. And if you find that something is making you feel bad, like really bad, then, figure out a way to alchemize that or cut out that thing. But I've had the desire to just like it's been fun for me to just like cook things, because I've just been eating, I live in the tropics a good part of the year. Yeah. Like you mentioned in Vietnam. And yeah, I just eat fruit. And I also love the simplicity of that, of just buying fruit from the market or getting it from the tree or wherever, and just eating fruit, just going to a river and just eating fruit. I love fruit, but I haven't had like a proper, like kitchen or like something to experiment in a long time. So like being here, like at my parents' house right now, and just having all these different tools to just like play with. It's just been fun to like experiment with things. I've also been cooking food for my family and stuff. So that also just gives me this outlet to like serve, which also nourishes me. So yeah, I was judging myself, and I kind of eased up and stopped judging myself, because that's never gonna fix anything anyway.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just really important to bring this up, because everybody's on their own journey, everybody's on their own path, and as I coach people as well, I have been less about, I would say like in the last year, I've been less about, well, this shows us this, like nutritional science shows us this, and blah blah blah. I've been more about like, well, what's your body asking you for? There's a difference between your body asking you for like a Hostess cupcake versus like if you want some nuts and seeds, or if you want some like oven baked potato fries versus making the raw smoothie. Like roll with it. There's a reason, right? And maybe your body is just asking you for a little bit more rooting and grounding. Maybe you just want that artistic outlet to cook and create, and yeah, I think as we kind of move on from this, like a notable concept would be to listen to your intuition and your body and what it's asking you for, and to release the rigidity, because that's where joy is found. That's my personal experience, and it sounds like you're also kind of experiencing that as well. And the beautiful thing is that we're still celebrating plants, and it's not like we're going back to eating animals or the standard American diet. So I believe it's still a win, right? So I want to know more about like what was it, because you were living in Vietnam with having an abundant amount of fresh fruits, that you were more intuitively pulled toward raw and high fruit consumption? Or was it more influences like on YouTube and stuff like that? I'm just curious about that journey for you.
So actually, no. Started eating vegan when I was in Vietnam 6 years ago.
Right.
And that was not hard. In the place that I was staying, there was like so many vegan restaurants. It was like a vegan hub. So it was super easy. And I was eating fruits, but I wasn't even scratching the surface, because I didn't know anything about the raw vegan community. So I was not like thinking with the raw mindset. I was eating maybe like mangoes and bananas for breakfast sometimes, but I mean, for
Mhm.
lunch and dinner, it was a lot of rice and all kinds of other Vietnamese vegan stuff. And
Mhm.
I didn't go raw until after I was vegan for a year and a half. And then I started living with my previous girlfriend in a van. We were traveling around the US, and she was raw already for a long time before that. And so I just adopted her diet and lifestyle for convenience. We just started living in a van together. I was like, I'm just gonna eat fruit like you. She was like super clean too, like just a lot of fruit and salads and stuff for dinner. And she's like, no, you don't have to do that. You can eat whatever you want. I was like, well, like if we're gonna be eating together like every meal, I don't want to be like, hey, I want to go to this vegan restaurant and you're just gonna come there and like eat an apple or just like watch me eat.
Right.
And I'm like, that would just be weird. So no, I feel curious to just explore what you're eating. She's like, all right. And it's like, I already know how to eat fruit, but she just turned me on to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks and influencers. So yeah, we're just living in a van, and we had a lot of time to listen to different podcasts while driving. I was, people
Yeah.
like Aris Latam and Eli Martyr and John Rose and all these kind of different influencers. And I was just like, listen to these podcasts, be like, damn, like the stuff they're saying about raw food, like it really makes sense. Like the cooking just destroys the enzymes and, all everything. And I was just really like, really falling for it and really getting into it. And that just gradually led me to keep going on this path into where I am now. And yeah, it wasn't until I moved back to the tropics and then I was able to like enjoy the full spectrum of tropical fruits. But even like before I was raw, when I was just vegan living in Vietnam, like I was surrounded by like jackfruit and durian and everything. Like every
Yeah.
day I could have as much as I wanted, but I didn't even know what it was and I wasn't even eating it at that time. So I was really
Got it.
missing out, to be honest. Now I'm making up for it.
So I'm interested about your mind body connection journey now, like with meditation. And as you already said, all of this is kind of connected. Like the more everybody has like a tipping point, and it sounds like yours was food. Like you started with food and then you journeyed into these other aspects of holistic living. Can you tell us about where did it start for you in terms of meditation? What do you practice in terms of mind body connection that has been transformative for you?
A lot of things. Yeah, meditation's a big one. Been practicing. I mean, meditation, there's like various ways you can really describe meditation. I mean, really,
Oh,
like some people may say that anything that's kind of keeping you in the present moment is a form of meditation because you're just in the present, kind of focusing your awareness on one thing, knitting or playing sports, whatever it is. But then there's like specific intentional, like stillness meditation. And this, like sitting in silence, I've been practicing for, I'd say like, I don't know, 7, 8 years consciously, but really like didn't have much guidance for most of that. I was just kind of doing my own thing and not really kind of just taking what other people said meditation was supposed to be and just like implementing that. And it never really felt like structured. It never really felt like I was just like, I didn't really know why I was doing it. And then, yeah, when I started living in Asia, Southeast Asia, it's a lot of Buddhism influence over there. So there's a lot of monks, a lot of temples, a lot of meditation. And just being around that environment, I just started to meditate more. I had a landlord at one time, this place that I was renting for like 9 months. This young Vietnamese girl, she's a owner of a vegan restaurant, and she's like very devout Buddhist. And she was doing all these meditating and chants, mantra chanting like every morning and every evening. And yeah, I just learned from people like her, and yeah, just started practicing more meditation, I guess in the style of like Buddhism, and I
hmm.
resonate with that a lot more now. So
Well, and your Instagram handle is the fruit monk. So that kind of makes
shameless
sense.
plug.
I mean, it makes sense. That's interesting. So, when you're meditating, do you chant? Do you say Om? Are you silent? What does it look like for you?
Could throw down on some ohms sometime. Yeah. These days I normally practice in the style of like Vipassana meditation, which is kind of just like scanning the body very meticulously and observing as many different parts of the body, very specific, detailed parts as you can. Just kind of like scanning up and down and feeling them and not reacting to them. And yeah, bring the awareness to my breath. It's pretty much
Got it.
it. It's pretty
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. Such a simple practice that a lot of people really aren't tapped into. So that's interesting. So it sounds like actually your meditation started before you made a dietary change.
Yeah, kind of, but it wasn't that.
It's kind of
It
all around the
was,
same time.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
So what made you want to start doing retreat?
Well, I love Vietnam. It's a really special place, and it's something that I want to share with people. I think I've just gotten so much abundance and nourishment from being in the tropics and having access to all these fruits, all this warm weather, all this high energy, these very high vibrating like waterfalls and all these amazing spots. And I just wanted to share that. With that being said, I feel like I've always kind of been playing like a leadership role in my friend groups since a young age. I was always like, not that I was like some kind of boss or something, but I was always like this kind of connecting point. Like I
Mm.
would have friends from this school and from this neighborhood and from this, and I would kind of like invite everyone to come together and be like this, introducing everyone to each other. And then we all became like one family. But I felt like I was kind of this like nucleus of the cell that was not to like be egotistical
Oh,
or anything, but I just
no.
like, I know that that was my role, was bringing people from different places together. And so I've always kind of had that feeling. And yeah, when I moved to Vietnam, I created some groups, some kind of small communities, like community of vegans, community of people playing sports together. And this just kept stacking up. And I was just like, I want to take this to the next level. And then once I started just having a couple years of experience with raw foods and with breath work, with meditating, with really living with the natural elements as well. I spent like a year kind of like living in the forest before I hosted this retreat. And so I really got immersed and connected with Mother Nature. And so I just felt like I feel like I still have a lot of experience and wisdom that's not my own. It's just, wisdom from the universe, whatever. And I can share this with people. Yeah, so I did the retreats, the first one earlier this year in March. We had an amazing time. Super fun, super amazing group of people. And yeah, it was legendary. And yeah, we're doing it again next year. So
So
excited.
exciting. I do believe, I'm really happy, Michael, that you followed your arrow, if you will, that you listened to
Mm,
your intuition when it comes to just being the leader. I believe that many people actually can be the leader. And that's something that I tell my clients, like, especially when like there's people like my clients, right? They want to change their life with nutrition, with mind body
mm,
connection. They want to start living more of a non toxic lifestyle. They want to make all these transitions, but like they're living in this ecosystem that nobody else is doing it. And it's like, how do they, one of the biggest obstacles for them is how do they maintain this lifestyle? And I'm like, look, there's always going to be a leader and it can be you, right? Who's to say that you can't be the leader? Who's to say that you can't start the trend, the ripple effect that could change so many other people's lives? And I do believe that we all have that in us if we let it come out. And it's really awesome that you did this. Now you're spearheading these retreats. And it's really based on your personal experience, your personal transformation. You feel different enough and you've had enough of a change in your life that you're like, wow, why don't I just bring people together and transform their lives too? It's like so beautiful. And I'm just really happy for you that you listen to those nudges.
thank
Something
you.
that I was, something that I posted on Instagram today is, and that keeps coming up, is that people are living, there's just a lot of people living in the hallway. There's a lot of people living in the hallway. And sometimes God closes the door to the really bomb room, like the really awesome room. And
Mm,
it's not because you're not worthy of the really awesome room, but it's because you've been chilling in the freaking hallway. So then you have to go to the less than desirable room. And you just don't even know, you don't even know how much of like how much goodness is just waiting for you. And
watch out for the hall monitor.
Yeah, get out, because the hall monitor is no fun.
Better get a hall pass.
People are just no. I mean, you're not living in the hallway. Essentially, you're creating the room, and it's awesome. So, can you tell me more about your breathwork experience and what that's done for you? And I don't know how you're implementing that in your life. Do you practice it? I love breathwork. I mean, breathwork can be just like meditation. So many different methods, so many different ways to do it. But personally, I like the ones where you get like almost high. You're almost completely out of body, maybe some tetany, or maybe you just, yeah, you just go into a different form. That's been my experience. I like extreme breath work. What has breath work done
Hmm.
for you? What's your personal experience? And do you teach people? I think you do, right? Teach people in a little aspect of breath.
I hold space. Yeah. I don't necessarily teach people to be breathwork facilitators or anything like that. So I'm just a space holder. I'm a facilitator myself. And yeah, I learned from a community. It's called GBA, Global Breathing Awareness, based in Greece on a secret island. And this place is super magical place to learn, and just epic, crazy island out of a fairy tale. And the teachers there are really amazing people, very wise, some of the best breath masters and breath teachers in the world. And they learned from the founder of rebirthing breathwork, which is the style that I'm versed in. Rebirthing breathwork, kind of like the guy that's said to be the creator of this protocol, this technique, is a guy named Leonard Orr. And so, yeah, I learned from one of his students, this woman named Katia. And yeah, rebirthing breathwork, it's super cool. It's just a very simple and kind of gentle way of connected breathing that you do lying down, sitting up, whatever is your preference. But you can go for, 20 minutes, or you can go much longer, 1 hour or even more. And everyone is going to have a different experience. Even every session that you have is going to be a totally different experience. You can have very just like gentle, euphoric, nervous system resetting internal experiences, and connecting with the just divine intelligence, just, going and holding God's hand and going somewhere off in heaven. And that's amazing. And then you can also push yourself more, breathe deeper, breathe faster, and that may cause you to tap into some more traumatic memories, which is not bad either. It's also just, and that normally is followed by some kind of release, physical or crying or screaming, and all kinds of different things can happen. But when you're with someone like myself that's a facilitator, you're never going to be in danger or in trouble. It's always okay. You can't die from breathing like this on your own. Yeah, it's changed my life. I went through an initiation with this program as a student, and then I took to the next level and became a facilitator. And yeah, I really love sharing this with people. Over the past like 1 or 2 weeks, I've given some online sessions to some friends on Zoom, energy exchange, and yeah, I love it. I love sharing this with people, and I love seeing all the different experiences that people have. It's really fascinating.
Yeah. Can you tell me more about the method of breath with rebirthing? Is it
Hmm.
in how is it long box breathing? Is it,
Hmm.
yeah, what does it look like?
Yeah, it's just nose breathing. And in certain
Mhm.
circumstances, if your nose is like completely blocked, or just some other circumstances, you can switch to mouth breathing. But we always start trying to get you to nose breathe, because that's just the most optimal way of breathing for humans, is through the nose. So it would something like, everyone's going to do it at their own pace, but I can just give you an example of like
Yeah.
what it might look like for me. And I'm not a perfect breather either, but ideally you're trying to just have a continuous connected breath that's going in, and then you're just dropping, not really forcing the exhale too much, but pulling in, and then you just let it go, and pull in and let it go. And as you keep going, you want to close the gap between the inhale and the exhale, so that it's just continuous and you're not really taking any pause. And basically, when you do this, for most people, after 10 or 15 minutes, even quicker, it can be, but 10, 15 minutes of breathing like this, as long as you're not having resistance, and, because there's a lot of ways that people will resist, they can keep swatting flies on their face, and, that means they're not really giving their all to it. They're just trying to, like, it's like a form of subconscious resistance to not go deeper.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different ways people can do this. But if you really surrender and commit to breathing, then after a few minutes of just breathing like this through your nose, your breath and your body will start doing this on its own. And you can kind of go off into different planes, but your body will just breathe like this on its own. And that's really fascinating to observe. People get into this thing called an energy cycle where they're just like, and that's once they start doing that, you know they've gone somewhere. And everyone comes back with a different story, a different memory that they had, or a visualization, or some kind of entity that they saw, or some kind of feeling that they had in their body. And yeah, it's fascinating.
It's so fascinating. If I were to use that cadence, that in out, like pretty rapidly, I would definitely go. I mean, it would probably only take me just a few minutes to go into a different place. It's so interesting how quickly your brain can start to change, and like your entire physicality, your entire physical body.
Oh yeah.
It starts to like tingle for me. I mean, everything is just like oxygenated, like to the max, right?
Yeah.
And man, it's been really good for me in terms of releasing trauma. And like you said, Michael, every session is different. And I have found myself in a crying state. I have found myself like in the fetal position and asleep. By the end of it, I have found myself just upright and completely energized. It's fascinating how this free practice, and it's so simple, can be really, really transformative. So I'm personally just going to say I'm excited to learn more from you, and maybe even have some sessions with you to
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
to explore this the specific practice, because I love how there's different techniques, just like with yoga and just like Pilates, like there's different techniques to mind body connection, and I believe they can all be beneficial, and it's cool to explore the different ways. So also that island sounds great, and I just want to go just to see the islands.
Yeah. Well, I can send you the name in private.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so so tell me more about the retreats that are happening in 2026. What are they going to look like? What are people going to experience? And how can they learn?
Yeah, you can learn more about it by hitting me up at The Fruit Monk on Instagram or Michael Younger on Facebook. I think most people have Instagram. My profile picture on Facebook is a guy with like 12 arms, so easy to find. The retreats, oh man, it's gonna be so sweet. So it's in Vietnam. We have this base, this home base in the countryside. It's outside of this. It's like 45 minutes outside of this town called Da Nang, which has become like the Miami of Vietnam. It's a super fun place to explore as well. But yeah, we're in the countryside to get that peace, get that, just that calmness for our nervous system, calmness for our mind, our body. Little bungalows, super like cute, but minimalistic. They all have this little balcony that like overviews a giant mountain and a river that's right behind us. We're just like a couple minutes drive away from, not even a couple minutes walk away from some waterfalls. So my retreats are like, it's really combining like wellness and adventure. It's like you get a good dose of, daily morning meditating, breathing, some form of movement. It can be like yoga, dance, different kinds of movement, shaking. So we always started off with like just calming ourselves and just practice of presence and gratitude. And then the day is filled with like hiking into the jungles and going to these epic waterfalls. I mean, I've traveled around the earth a bit, and the only place that really matches like the waterfalls that I've seen in Vietnam is this island in Greece that I did the breathwork training. But these waterfalls in Vietnam are incredible. It's not like Bali or Thailand or these places that are generally overrun with tourists and have all these people taking photos, and they have an entrance fee, and it's really become commercialized. The places that we go in Vietnam are like super raw. Some of these places, like, I don't even know if local people know. Like, I found the trail on my own, just like hiking there for years and just exploring. So it's really just like hidden gems. The waters are super like crystal clear, just like emerald green and turquoise blue waters that are super clean. And when you bathe in them, you just feel like so much energy and purification. So we really practice a lot of purification with the natural elements. what we're eating is, I mean, it's a lot of fruit. It's really mostly fruit. Fruit, breakfast, fruit, lunch, and then in the evening we're kind of making some simple raw dinners that don't lack on flavor either. But yeah, we got tons of mangoes, tons of jackfruit. Jackfruit was definitely like the most popular fruit at the last retreat. So we got to get even more jackfruit this year, all kinds of fruit. And it's really, I mean, it's really just about connecting with yourself, connecting with the other like-minded people that are there. We do a lot of activities to just like tap into playfulness and be creative, inner child expression. And I mean, it's just very wholesome. It's just very good vibes. And yeah, it's just a great launch pad to just have a real mind, body, energy reset and just prepare you for whatever is the next chapter of your life. And it's a great way to meet a lot of amazing people, make good connections. I could keep talking about it, but it'll just
No,
keep going.
yeah, that's great. People can find out more about them where? Just by connecting with you on social media?
Can you say that again? My
Where, Michael?
internet's kind of acting up.
Yeah. People,
Yo, I'm here.
can you hear
Yes,
me? You're back?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you there?
Yo, I'm here.
I can
What's going
see
on?
you, but it's like very delayed.
Well, just ask me the question and I'll answer it.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
All right. I guess we're back now. Okay, cool.
Um, okay, so where can people sign up for your retreat?
Yeah, so just message me on Instagram or Facebook and I'll send you the application form. It's also linked in my bio.
Perfect.
But if you just
Perfect.
message me the word retreat, then I know what to do. I know what you're looking for.
All right. Michael, are there any last words of inspiration or wisdom that you want to share with people that's coming to your mind?
Don't be hard on yourself. Just stay on the path. Everything happens for a reason. Love yourself. Love your family. Follow your heart. Yeah, just don't be so hard on yourself. Just continue to give yourself love in the form of whatever that looks like to you.
It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your journey, your story, some of your story, and how you're changing people's lives. And
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for setting this up.
you're welcome. Be well.